Anthony Davis's agent, Rich Paul, seemingly did all he could to engineer a deal to send his client from the New Orleans Pelicans to the Los Angeles Lakers before last week's NBA trade deadline, but he was unsuccessful. Davis remained with the Pelicans, and now every team must wait until the summer to pursue the superstar center. One team that couldn't trade for Davis before the deadline was the Boston Celtics, due to a league rule. The Lakers tried to acquire Davis, and reportedly offered quite a bit before Boston could enter the bidding, knowing that the C's could put together a more enticing package for New Orleans in the summer. The Celtics, according to Sean Devaney of the Sporting News, were not pleased with Paul throughout the process, and here's why. The Celtics were annoyed by the story of Irving having eyes for New York, not because of Irving, but because they felt the story was planted by Davis's agent, Rich Paul, in order to scare the Pelicans into thinking Boston would back off making a trade offer for Davis in July if Irving left. It was cheap and underhanded, one source told SN. The timing of the rumors on Irving's willingness, or lack thereof, to re-sign with the Celtics as a free agent this summer didn't seem like a coincidence. The superstar point guard told C's season ticket holders in October that he planned to re-sign with Boston, and his future with the C's wasn't in news again until the Davis trade request became the biggest story in the league the Monday before Super Bowl 53. What's next? The Celtics should get a chance to acquire Davis in the summer and pair him with Irving, which would form an incredible duo that could help Boston dominate the Eastern Conference for years to come. It also would be the worst-case scenario for Paul, whose top client, LeBron James, still doesn't have a superstar teammate on the Los Angeles Lakers. Click here to download the new My Teams app by NBC Sports. Receive comprehensive coverage of your teams and stream the Celtics easily on your device. Boston, within minutes of entering Wednesday's game against the Detroit Pistons, Gordon Hayward was on the scoreboard. A few minutes later, more points for Hayward and the Boston Celtics. While he wasn't nearly as prolific in getting buckets against the Detroit Pistons as he was the night before against Philadelphia, Hayward was doing exactly what the Celtics need from him, making an impact, and he did it with a bit of twist on Wednesday, returning to the Celtics starting lineup for the first time in months as Boston closed out the pre-All-Star break portion of their schedule with a 118-110 win. Hayward had 16 points on 5 for 8 shooting to go, with 8 assists and 4 rebounds, after having scored 26 points in Boston's win at Philadelphia just 24 hours earlier. Celtics 118, Pistons 110 highlights. C's pick up second straight W. The opportunity to start came about because of a combination of injuries: Kyrie Irving, right knee strain, and illness, Terry Rozier, which robbed Boston of its 2 primary playmakers. That left Celtics head coach Brad Stevens few options who to put in the starting lineup. It's fair to say Stevens made the right call in going with Hayward, whose presence with the first unit aided Jaylen Brown's play off the bench as Boston's primary scorer with the second unit, and with the win, Boston, 37-21, goes into the break having won 2 in a row, and 12 of its last 15 games. Here are the stars, studs and duds from Boston's 118-110 win over the Pistons. Stars: Blake Griffin. There was one current All-Star on the floor in Blake Griffin, who dominated play pretty much every moment he was on the floor. He ended the night with a game-high 32 points, 20 of which came in the first half. Jason Tatum. The last couple of games without Kyrie Irving have really allowed Tatum more opportunities to be the team's go-to guy in pressure-packed situations. And to his credit, Tatum delivered when the Celtics needed on Wednesday before finishing with 19 points. Al Horford. This was a nice way for the veteran big to close out the pre-All-Star break portion of the Celtics schedule. He would finish with his 7th double-double of the season, with 17 points and 14 rebounds along with 8 assists on a night when it was Horford coming through with clutch baskets in the fourth as the Pistons were trying to mount a comeback. Studs: Gordon Hayward. Making his first start since December 21, Gordon Hayward picked up where he left off the previous night at Philadelphia. After dropping 26 points on the Sixers Tuesday night, Hayward had 18 points on 5 for 8 shooting to go with 5 rebounds and 8 assists. Andre Drummond, one of the few dominant inside-the-paint bigs in the NBA, Drummond was indeed in double-double mode as he tallied 21 points and 17 rebounds. Jaylen Brown, he continues to be an effective performer for Boston off the bench both as a scorer and rebounder. For the game, Brown had 17 points and 7 rebounds. Marcus Smart. There was a stretch in the third quarter when Marcus Smart hit 3 consecutive three-pointers that took a relatively competitive game and transformed it into a blowout win for Boston. For the game, Smart had 16 points, 5 assists and 3 rebounds. Reggie Jackson, the former Boston College star, had a solid night scoring the ball for the Pistons before finishing with 18 points on 5 for 10 shooting to go with 3 assists and 2 rebounds. Duds officiating. No, this is no gripe about bad calls or anything like that. Even though the Celtics had control of the game pretty much most of the game, there were far too many stoppages of play to review calls, which slowed down whatever flow there was to the game. Click here to download the new My Teams app by NBC Sports. Receive comprehensive coverage of your teams and stream the Celtics easily on your device. Final score, Celtics 118, Pistons 110. In brief, after surrendering some runs to the Pistons early, the Celtics took over in the second half to head into the All-Star break on a 2-game win streak, after suffering one of their most embarrassing losses of the season on Saturday. Back in the starting lineup, Gordon Hayward notched 16 points and 8 rebounds, while Jason Tatum had a game-high 19 points and Al Horford flirted with a triple-double, 17 points, 14 rebounds, 8 assists. Blake Griffin, 32 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and Andre Drummond, 21 points, 17 rebounds, turned in big nights in the loss for Detroit. Box score: Celtics record 37-21, second in Atlantic Division. Highlights: Horford gets great bounce that bounce at Dane. Menus. TNT, Thursday, February 21, at Milwaukee, 8 p.m. TNT. Click here to download the new My Teams app by NBC Sports. Receive comprehensive coverage of your teams and stream the Celtics easily on your device.